So you're thinking of getting an iPad. What if I told you that as great as an iPad is, it is one massive problem, and it's not what you think. The iPad is an incredible device. It's sleek, it's powerful, and versatile. You can use it for drawing, note-taking, watching videos, and even some light productivity tasks. But here's the kicker. Its biggest problem isn't the hardware, the software, or even the price. The biggest problem with the iPad is actually the MacBook. Yes, you heard that right, the MacBook. You see, Apple has positioned the iPad as a device that can almost replace your laptop. They even market the iPad Pro with the tagline, "Your next computer is not a computer." But despite the advancements in iPad OS, the iPad will never live up to the capabilities of the MacBook, and this is by design. Many YouTubers and tech enthusiasts have tried to make the switch to using an iPad as their main PC. The appeal is obvious: the portability, the touch interface, and the seamless integration with other Apple devices. But almost inevitably, they move back to a MacBook. How come? Because the iPad, as powerful as it is, falls short in several key areas. First, let's get into talking about multitasking. Yes, iPadOS has improved a lot in this area with features like split view and slide over, but it's still not as efficient as macOS. On a MacBook, you can have multiple windows open, drag and drop files between them, and use full desktop apps that aren't even available on the iPad. Imagine working on a research project. On a MacBook, you have a web browser open with multiple tabs, a word processor, a PDF viewer, and a spreadsheet application all running simultaneously. You can easily drag and drop text images between these apps, arrange the windows to maximize productivity, and quickly switch between the tasks using keyboard shortcuts. On the iPad, you're limited to 2 apps side by side and a third in slide over. It's more cumbersome and doesn't provide the same fluidity and ease of multitasking. Take video editing, for example. While the iPad has powerful apps like Final Cut Pro, it's not quite the same thing as using the desktop version on a MacBook. The desktop class applications on macOS are far more robust and versatile, allowing for a much smoother and more efficient workflow. On a MacBook, you have access to a full suite of professional tools, plugins, and advanced features that aren't even available on the iPad. The experience is simply more productive on a Mac. Then there's file management. On the iPad, the Files app has come a long way, don't get me wrong, but it still does not compare to the Finder on macOS. Simple tasks like organizing files, transferring data between drives, and using external storage are much more straightforward on a MacBook, whereas with Finder, you can easily create complex folder structures, tag files for better organization, and view detailed file information. Connecting external drives and managing large files is also a breeze thanks to macOS's superior file system. And let's not forget about the keyboard and mouse experience. While the Magic Keyboard for iPad is impressive, and by the way, it's also extremely expensive, it still doesn't provide the same comfort and functionality as a MacBook's built-in keyboard and trackpad. Plus, many apps on the iPad are still optimized for touch, not for keyboard or mouse input. On macOS, every app is designed with a keyboard and mouse in mind, ensuring a consistent and efficient user experience. The MacBook's trackpad in particular is renowned for its precision and multi-touch gestures, which make navigating and interacting with the system a joy. All of these limitations make it clear that the iPad, as great as it is, cannot fully replace a MacBook for many professional and productivity tasks. And Apple knows this. By keeping the iPad and the MacBook separate in terms of capabilities, Apple ensures that each device has its own place in their ecosystem. In other words, the iPad's biggest problem is that it will always be a step behind the MacBook. Not because it's not capable, but because Apple have designed it that way. They want you to buy both an iPad and a MacBook, each serving different purposes. If they made the iPad as strong and as capable as the MacBook, then people would pose the question, what is the point of the MacBook? It would start to eat into their sales, and really it would be actually more detrimental to Apple. But let's not overlook one crucial aspect: the impressive performance and specs of the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is equipped with the latest in M series chip technology, and the same chip found in some MacBook models. It has incredible processing power, stunning graphics, and amazing battery life. It is an absolute powerhouse for the size of the tablet. The Liquid Retina XDR display offers breathtaking visuals, and the Aldis ProMotion technology is super smooth and offers a responsive experience. On paper, the iPad Pro should be able to handle anything you throw at it. But here's the catch. The software and limitations of iPadOS mean that the iPad Pro isn't fully utilizing its hardware potential. Despite the powerful M series chip, many apps on the iPad are still limited versions of their macOS counterparts. This means that even though the iPad Pro has the hardware to compete with a MacBook, it can't fully replace it because it's simply just not allowed to. Apple intentionally keeps the iPad and MacBook experience distinct, ensuring that the iPad, despite its impressive specs, remains a secondary device for more professional tasks. Take for example advanced photo editing. While apps like Photoshop are available on the iPad, they are not as feature rich as desktop counterparts. Professional photographers and graphic designers often find themselves reaching for their MacBooks to access the full range of tools and plugins they need for their work. The iPad versions of these apps are getting better, but they still lack that depth and flexibility required for high-end professional use. Another area where the iPad falls short is in software development. While there are some development environments available on the iPad, they are nowhere near as powerful or versatile as those on macOS. Developers need access to a full suite of tools, compilers, debuggers, which are all best supported on the MacBook, and the lack of a native Xcode experience on the iPad is a significant drawback for developers who need to write, test, and debug code efficiently. Furthermore, consider the aspect of peripherals and external hardware. While the iPad supports a range of accessories including external keyboards, mice, and even monitors, the experience is not as seamless as a MacBook. The MacBook's Thunderbolt ports offer fast data transfer speeds and greater flexibility for connecting multiple high-performance peripherals simultaneously. The iPad's reliance on a single USB-C port can be limiting, especially for those power users who need to connect to several devices at once. Let's also discuss software updates and support. While Apple does a great job of providing regular updates to iPadOS, these updates often lag behind macOS in terms of introducing new features and capabilities. The MacBook is typically the first to receive major updates and new technologies, ensuring that it remains at the forefront of Apple's computing lineup. This staggered approach to updates further emphasizes the secondary role of the iPad in Apple's ecosystem. On the other hand, the iPad excels in areas where the MacBook simply can't compete. The touch interface, combined with the Apple Pencil, makes it an outstanding device for artists, designers, and anyone who really values a hands-on approach to their work. The portability of the iPad is simply unmatched, making it perfect for use on the go, whether you're taking notes in a meeting, reading on the couch, or sketching in a park. The iPad's battery life is also exceptional, often lasting longer than a MacBook under similar usage conditions. But despite these strengths, the iPad's potential is ultimately constrained by its design. Apple's strategic decision to keep the iPad and MacBook as a distinct product ensures that each serves its purpose within the broader ecosystem. The iPad remains an excellent secondary device, perfect for consumption and some creation, while the MacBook continues to be the go-to device for serious productivity and professional work. So if you're considering getting an iPad, just keep in mind that while it's an amazing device with top-notch performance, it does have its limitations. And if you're looking for a true laptop replacement, the MacBook is still the king of the hill. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos like this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.